Aurora Prime had begun to feel like home. Humans moved with confidence through the forests, valleys, and rivers, learning to read the subtle signs of the planet. Their Valyrian companions had taught them to understand the rhythms of the land, the shifts in gravity, the patterns of floating islands, the gentle hum of the crystal formations scattered across the planet. Dr. Elias Hart watched as humans and Valyrian worked side by side, building the beginnings of a settlement. Energy shields were installed to protect crops, research labs were constructed, and paths were carefully mapped to avoid disturbing the delicate ecosystem. Humans were proving themselves as intelligent, careful, and cooperative settlers. Then one morning, alarms rang across the capital. Sensors detected movement on the outskirts of the valley, fast, aggressive, and unmistakably hostile. Elias felt his chest tighten. The readings were alien, unlike anything humans or Valyrian had encountered before. "Captain Chen, what do we know?" Elias asked. "They're large, coordinated, and moving quickly toward the settlement," Leora replied. "We have minutes, not hours." Elias turned to his crew and companions. "Humans," he said, his voice calm but firm. "We have faced challenges before. We have solved problems that seemed impossible. We adapt, we plan, we act. This is no different. Work with your companions and protect Aurora Prime. Protect this home." The attackers arrived, a species the humans quickly named Drakari. They were fierce, with armored bodies and sharp claws, moving in coordinated packs. Their intent was clear. They wanted to seize Aurora Prime. The humans and Valyrian rallied. Using their knowledge of the land and technology, they formed defensive positions. Energy barriers, reinforced by human ingenuity, formed protective perimeters. Humans devised clever traps, channels to redirect Drakari, signals to confuse them, and decoys to draw them away from the settlement. Meena Patel coordinated with Tavara to enhance the barriers using the energy pulses from Aurora Prime's crystals. "The planet itself can help us," she explained. "We just need to guide its energy." Elias smiled, proud of her quick thinking. Humans had always found solutions when none seemed possible. They did not rely on brute strength alone. They used brains, teamwork, and creativity. The first wave of Drakari attacks struck the outer perimeter. The creatures were fast and powerful, but humans and Valyrian moved as one. They anticipated each move, countered every attack, and adapted when the enemy changed tactics. One human scout, Jaren, led a group to the floating islands above the valley. Using grappling devices and energy shields, they created elevated positions that allowed them to observe the enemy and relay information to the main defense. Their strategic thinking turned the tide of the initial skirmish. Meanwhile, Elias coordinated the main defenses with Solaran. They used energy conduits and crystal amplifiers to create controlled bursts of force, carefully avoiding harm to the environment. Humans had learned that strength alone was not enough. They had to act with precision and care. Hours passed. The Drakari were relentless, but so were the humans. The Valyrian companions marveled at their creativity and resilience. Humans did not panic. Humans did not retreat. They adapted and overcame, using every tool, every skill, and every idea available. At one point, a group of Drakari broke through the outer perimeter. Elias led a team to intercept them, combining human agility with Valyrian energy manipulation. The battle was tense, but the humans' ingenuity shone. They used terrain, traps, and quick thinking to turn the enemy's strength against them, forcing the intruders back. By nightfall, the valley was quiet again. The Drakari had retreated, unable to overcome the combined efforts of humans and Valyrian. The settlement was intact, and the humans had proven themselves in ways that even the Valyrian could not have predicted. Elias gathered the crew and companions. "Today we face danger," he said, "and today we showed what humans can do. Not because we are the strongest, but because we are smart, brave, and determined. Humans adapt. Humans overcome. Humans protect what they care about." The Valyrian communicated approval. Humans have shown courage, intelligence, and respect for life. "You are worthy of this world. You are not just visitors, you are allies." The humans celebrated quietly. They had not only survived, but had thrived under pressure. The Drakari attack had tested their skills, teamwork, and courage. They had met the challenge with innovation, empathy, and determination, the qualities that made humans remarkable. In the following days, Humans worked with the Valyrian to strengthen defenses and learn more about potential threats. They studied the Drakkari's patterns, anticipating future encounters, and designed strategies that used intelligence over brute force. Humans had shown that even in an alien world, their unique combination of creativity, courage, and morality was unmatched. Elias observed the crew, proud of every individual. "We are not just surviving here," he said. "We are thriving. We are proving that humanity can rise to challenges that no one else could face. This is our strength, not weapons, not machines, but our minds, our hearts, and our unity." One evening, as the twin suns set over the valley, Elias and Silarin walked along the cliff overlooking the settlement. Fires from the energy shields and the soft glow of Aurora Prime's crystals lit the valley below. "Your people are extraordinary," Silarin communicated. "You have courage, intelligence, and compassion. These traits make humans a force to respect." Elias smiled, feeling the weight and pride of their journey. "We are human," he said quietly. "We do not give up. We do not falter. We learn, we adapt, and we protect. That is who we are." The humans had earned their place on Aurora Prime. They had faced danger, worked with the Valyrian, and defended their new home. They had done it not through domination, but through teamwork, ingenuity, and respect. And as night fell, stars filling the sky above the glowing forests and rivers, Elias knew that the greatest challenges were still ahead, but humanity had proven that no challenge was too great. Aurora Prime was not just a new world. It was a place where humans could rise, thrive, and show the universe what they were capable of. The Drakkari attack had been a test, and humans had passed with ingenuity and bravery. Elias looked at the crew, sleeping and resting after the long day. This is only the beginning, he thought. We will face more challenges, more mysteries, and more tests. But humanity will always rise. Humanity will always overcome. And humanity will always thrive. On Aurora Prime, in a world full of beauty and danger, humans had proven one unshakable truth. No matter the odds, humans were extraordinary. The dawn over Aurora Prime was unlike any sunrise on Earth. Twin suns cast gold and violet light across forests, rivers and mountains that seemed to hum with life. Dr. Elias Hart stood on the edge of the valley, gazing at the settlement below. Humans and Valyrian moved together seamlessly, working to expand the colony and explore the world around them. After the Drakkari attack, life had settled into a rhythm. Humans had learned the ways of the planet, gaining respect for its creatures, plants, and the subtle energy that flowed through everything. The Valyrian companions had become teachers, friends, and allies, guiding humans while learning from them in return. "This is more than survival," Elias said to Silarin, his Valyrian companion. "This is thriving. We've built something lasting." Silarin's form shimmered warmly. "You have proven your worth, not just in skill but in heart. Humans are extraordinary." The humans themselves were changed. They had adapted, learned, and grown stronger, not in body alone but in mind and spirit. Communities had formed, combining the best of human ingenuity with Valyrian wisdom. Gardens thrived, energy systems flowed without harm to the planet, and children, both human and hybrid with Valyrian guidance, explored safely, learning to respect Aurora Prime's mysteries. Elias walked through the settlement, watching humans and Valyrian share ideas and labor. Engineers modified technology, inspired by Valyrian designs but enhanced with human creativity. Scientists studied creatures and plants together, combining methods to learn faster and more deeply. Artists, humans and Valyrian alike, captured the beauty of the new world in colors, sounds, and patterns that reflected a shared culture. One evening, the leaders gathered in the central hall, a dome of translucent crystal where the sunlight poured in like liquid gold. Elias addressed the group. "We have come far," he said, his voice steady and proud. "We have faced challenges no human has ever faced before. We have fought, explored, learned, and adapted. And now we are not just guests on Aurora Prime. We are partners, allies, and builders of a new future." A Valyrian elder, glowing softly, responded, "Humans honor your species. You have shown courage, intelligence, and respect. You are worthy of this world, and your place here is secured. You inspire us as much as we guide you." The room filled with quiet admiration. Humans had not arrived as conquerors or invaders. They had arrived as learners, problem solvers, and protectors. Their strength was not in domination but in creativity, courage, and moral character. the traits that had allowed humanity to survive on Earth and now flourish among the stars. In the days that followed, humans took on new responsibilities. They coordinated efforts to expand safe zones for exploration, built bridges between floating islands, and designed ways to harness Aurora Prime's energy without harming the ecosystem. They experimented with the crystal formations, discovering the Odyssey broke through the outer edge of the star system, and before the crew lay a world that seemed almost alive. Aurora Prime was breathtaking. Its oceans sparkled like liquid sapphires, vast forests stretched beyond the horizon, and mountains reached toward clouds tinged with colors unseen on Earth. Dr. Elias Hart pressed his hands against the observation glass, feeling a thrill unlike anything he had experienced. "We've made it," he whispered. "Aurora Prime, our new home." The crew gathered at the observation deck, faces illuminated by the planet's glow. Excitement mixed with nervous anticipation. For some, this was the first time they had seen a world untouched by humans. For all, it was the culmination of years of work, sacrifice, and hope. Captain Leora Chen spoke first. "We need a landing site. Sensors indicate several safe zones near the equator. The atmosphere is breathable with minor filtration. Water is plentiful and the terrain is stable." Elias nodded. "Good. Begin the descent. Carefully, but we must land before nightfall." As the Odyssey approached the surface, the planet's beauty gave way to subtle strangeness. Trees glowed faintly in the twilight, and rivers shimmered with colors that shifted with the wind. The air, though breathable, carried a freshness that made lungs expand with relief. Birds, or creatures that resembled them, swooped in synchronized patterns across the skies. The landing itself was tense, but flawless. The Odyssey touched the ground gently, settling on a plateau overlooking a vast valley. The crew erupted in cheers. Humans had done the impossible. They had left Earth and reached a new world. Elias took a moment to survey the horizon. Something stirred in the distance, a figure moving across the valley floor. Tall, humanoid, and glowing faintly, it approached with measured steps. "Captain, sensors detect life forms," said Meena Patel. "They're intelligent. The readings match no known species." Elias squared his shoulders. "Then it's our first contact. Let's show them who humanity is." The figure stopped a few hundred meters from the Odyssey. As it raised its arms, smaller beings appeared behind it. All humanoid, but with features different from humans. Slender bodies, luminous skin, and eyes that reflected intelligence and curiosity. "Dr. Hart," Leora said quietly, "they're observing us, carefully." Elias stepped forward, raising his hand in a gesture of peace. "I am Elias Hart, leader of the human crew of the Odyssey. We come in friendship and curiosity." There was a pause. Then a clear melodic voice filled the air, though no mouth moved. The Valerian, as Elias would later learn to call them, were communicating directly through a mental link. Thoughts, images, and emotions flowed to the humans, gentle yet powerful. Valerian message: "Humans of Earth, you arrive on Aurora Prime. We have observed you. Your species is young yet remarkable. We will test your abilities and intentions. Adaptation is the key. Cooperation is the path. Welcome, if you prove worthy." Elias felt the weight of the message. The Valerian were not offering simple friendship. They were testing them, assessing whether humans were capable of thriving in a universe far older and more complex than Earth. He turned to his crew. "They are testing us, and we will show them what humans can do. Adapt, solve, learn, work together. That is who we are." Over the next days, the crew began exploring the nearby environment. Aurora Prime was abundant, yet every step revealed new puzzles. Plants grew in spiral patterns that seemed to react to movement. Water contained unknown minerals that enhanced growth but required careful handling. Animals approached curiously, testing humans as much as they were tested. Meena Patel discovered that the plants responded to sound vibrations. "It's almost like the forest is alive and aware," she said. "We can't just act the way we do on Earth. We have to observe, learn, and respect the balance." Elias smiled. "Exactly. Humans are fast learners. We will adapt, and in doing so, we will earn our place here." The crew faced challenges daily. A sudden storm of glowing particles forced them to seek shelter. Strange currents and rivers nearly swept them away. Unfamiliar gravity shifts tested their balance. Each time, humans used creativity, teamwork, and courage to overcome the obstacle. One day, Elias and Leora were testing a drone in the valley when a group of Valyrian appeared nearby. They observed quietly as the drone navigated complex terrain and transmitted detailed data about plants, animals, and topography. The Valyrian communicated again. Humans show curiosity, respect, and cleverness. These are the traits we value. Continue. The message filled the humans with hope. They were proving themselves not through strength but through intelligence, adaptability, and cooperation. The qualities that had allowed humanity to survive on Earth and now would help them thrive on Aurora Prime. Later, Elias led the crew to a cliff overlooking a vast canyon. The view was breathtaking. Rivers wound like ribbons of light, and floating islands hovered in the air, held by forces the humans could barely comprehend. These challenges, Elias said, are not obstacles. They are lessons. Aurora Prime is testing us because it sees potential, and humans always rise to challenges. That is what makes us special. At night, around small campfires powered by safe energy cores, the crew discussed their findings. They shared stories of Earth, of survival, of triumphs and failures. Laughter mingled with curiosity as humans reflected on their journey. They were explorers, scientists, and learners. They were united not only by survival but by purpose. And somewhere in the distance, the Valyrian watched. They saw humans observing, learning, and adapting. Unlike any other species they had met, humans showed a combination of courage, empathy, and creativity that sparked admiration. One morning, as dawn painted the skies in shades of gold and violet, Elias stood at the edge of the landing site. "We are not here to conquer," he said quietly. "We are here to understand, to build, to thrive. Aurora Prime is a test, and we will pass it, not because we are strongest, but because we are human." The Valyrian approached again, closer this time, and extended a hand, or the closest equivalent, given their luminous form. In that moment, humanity realized that their journey was only beginning. The planet was alive, the aliens were watching, and the challenges ahead would require all their skill, courage, and intelligence. But humanity had faced impossible odds before. On Earth, in cities, in deserts, in oceans, and in the skies, humans had always adapted. And here, on Aurora Prime, they would do the same. The first contact had been made. The tests had begun. And humanity, united in spirit and ingenuity, would show that they were capable of thriving in a universe far larger than themselves. Elias looked at his crew, eyes shining with pride. "We are humans," he said. "We explore, we adapt, we survive, and we will thrive here, on Aurora Prime." The planet stretched before them, vast and beautiful, full of mystery and possibility. The adventure was only beginning, but humans had already proven one truth. No matter the challenge, no matter the unknown, humans would rise, and humanity would leave its mark. The days on Aurora Prime passed with a rhythm both new and exhilarating. Humans explored, studied, and adapted to their alien environment. Every sunrise revealed landscapes more stunning than the day before. Rivers glimmering with shifting colors, forests that seemed to hum with life, and mountains that touched clouds that sparkled with strange hues. Dr. Elias Hart and his crew had learned quickly that success on this planet would depend on respect, patience, and intelligence. Every plant, every creature, and even the air seemed to respond to their actions. They could not simply impose their will, they had to understand. One morning, as the humans studied a grove of glowing trees, a group of Valyrian approached. Unlike the first distant encounter, these Valyrian moved with purpose. Their forms shimmered with gentle light, and Elias sensed curiosity and approval in their presence. "Humans," a Valyrian thought message reached Elias's mind. "You have adapted quickly. You observe, you learn, and you act with care. This pleases us. You may join us in the capital." The humans exchanged astonished glances. A visit to the Valyrian capital meant close contact with a civilization far older and more advanced than Earth. It was an honor and a test. The journey to the capital took several hours. Hovercrafts, powered by energy fields humans had never seen, carried them over valleys, forests, and rivers that glowed faintly under the alien sun. Elias watched, amazed, as the crew marveled at every detail. Humans were explorers by nature. Their curiosity was boundless, and Aurora Prime fed it endlessly. The capital rose from the center of a vast plateau like a city of crystal. Towers spiraled into the sky, shimmering in sunlight, connected by bridges of light. Humans felt awe and humility, but also pride. They had reached a new world and were welcomed by its inhabitants. At the center, the Valerian gathered in a great hall. Though alien in appearance, their posture, gestures, and even the expressions in their eyes conveyed respect. Elias stepped forward. "Humans," the lead Valerian communicated directly, "you have shown wisdom and adaptability. Your actions honor your species. We offer you a gift, companions from our kind to live alongside you and share knowledge, friendship, and guidance." The humans hesitated. It was unexpected. Yet the Valerian's intention was clear. These companions were not gifts in the sense of ownership. They were gestures of trust, partnership, and alliance. Elias nodded. "We accept your gift," he said carefully. "Not as possession, but as friendship and mutual learning." The Earth of 2145 was no longer the home it once was. Cities were crowded, skies were thick with smoke, and the oceans had begun to rise, swallowing coastal towns one after another. Resources were scarce, and nations argued over what little remained. Humanity had reached a turning point. Continue fighting each other over scraps or reach for the stars. Dr. Elias Hart stood on the balcony of the Global Space Initiative headquarters, overlooking the sprawling city below. At 42, he carried both the weight of responsibility and the spark of hope. His hair was peppered with gray, his eyes sharp and determined. For years, he had led a team of scientists, engineers, and astronauts in designing the Odyssey, the first starship capable of carrying humanity to a new world. "Dr. Hart," called a voice from behind him. It was Captain Leora Chen, his trusted colleague. She was a pilot with nerves of steel and a heart that never faltered. "The final systems checks are complete. The crew is ready for the final briefing." Elias nodded, taking a deep breath. "Good. Let's remind them why we do this. Not just for survival, but for the future of humanity. For Earth. For all who will come after us." Inside the briefing room, the crew of the Odyssey gathered. There were hundreds of faces, young and old, bright and nervous, each carrying the same dream, a chance to build a new home. Elias stepped forward, his voice calm but full of authority. "We are about to leave Earth behind," he began. "We do not leave because we have failed, but because we have learned. Our planet has given us everything, and now it is time to give something back, to ourselves and to the universe." The room was silent, every crew member hanging on his words. "Aurora Prime is our destination," he continued. "It is a planet capable of supporting life, with fresh air, oceans, and forests untouched by human hands. But it is not a gift. We will need to adapt, to work together, and to prove that humanity can rise to the challenges of the stars." A young engineer, Meena Patel, raised her hand nervously. "Dr. Hart, what if something goes wrong?"
"What if we can't survive out there?"
Elias smiled softly. "Meena, I will not pretend it will be easy. There will be dangers, unknowns, and moments when we feel fear. But remember this, humans are problem solvers. We are creative, curious, and strong. We have survived countless challenges on Earth. The stars are no different, only larger." The briefing ended, but the tension in the air remained. Everyone knew the risks, yet the excitement of possibility was stronger than the fear of failure. Days later, the Odyssey stood ready on the launch platform, gleaming under the early morning sun. Its sleek hull reflected the city skyline, a symbol of humanity's courage and ambition. Families waved from observation decks, tears and smiles mingling as the final boarding call echoed through the launch area. Elias watched as the crew boarded, checking each system one last time. The countdown began. 10, 9, 8. The engines hummed, a deep vibration that could be felt in the chest. 7, 6, 5. The ship seemed to breathe, alive with the promise of adventure. 3, 2, 1. Ignition. The Odyssey roared to life, flames and smoke shooting from its thrusters. It lifted off the earth, shaking the ground beneath it, and slowly rose into the sky. The crowd below cheered, but Elias's focus was on the horizon ahead, on the endless black of space and the new world waiting for them. The first days of travel were peaceful, almost serene. The crew adjusted to zero gravity, and daily routines became their anchor. Elias spent hours in the control room monitoring navigation systems, while Leora ran drills with the pilots. Meena and the engineering team kept the engines at peak performance, their hands moving over panels with precision born of long practice. Yet space was not entirely kind. On the fourth day, the Odyssey encountered a meteor storm. Small, fast-moving rocks collided with the shields, shaking the ship violently. Alarms blared. Crew members scrambled to stations, shields at maximum. "Evasive maneuvers in progress," Leora shouted, her voice steady despite the chaos. Elias gripped the console, watching the readouts. The meteors were bigger than expected. "Prepare for impact," reinforced the hull in Sector 3. The crew worked like a single organism, humans and machines moving together in perfect coordination. The ship rocked and groaned under the strain, yet no one panicked. With careful calculation, quick thinking, and fearless action, the Odyssey maneuvered through the storm. When the last meteor passed, the ship was battered but intact. Elias exhaled slowly. "Humans adapt," he said quietly to himself, a smile touching his lips. "No matter the challenge, we find a way." As the storm faded, the crew gathered in the observation deck. Outside, stars sparkled like diamonds on black velvet, infinite and mysterious. For the first time, many of them saw the universe not as a distant dream, but as a reality within their grasp. "This is just the beginning," Elias said. "Aurora Prime waits for us, and it is up to humanity to make it a home. We will face trials, yes, but we will face them together, and we will succeed." That night, as the crew rested, Elias stood alone in the control room. He gazed at the digital map of the galaxy, the blinking light marking Aurora Prime thousands of light years away. He thought of Earth, of its blue oceans and green forests now fading behind them. He thought of the generations yet to come, who might one day walk on a world untouched, a place built by human hands and human heart, and he knew without a doubt that humanity's story was far from over. No matter the distance, no matter the dangers humans would endure, humans would thrive, and humanity, in all its creativity, courage, and hope, would leave Earth behind but carry its spirit with them, lighting the path to a new world. The Odyssey sailed on, a beacon of human determination, leaving behind a planet in need, but carrying forward the best of what it had to offer. The journey had only just begun, and already humanity had proven what it could do. The Odyssey glided through the endless black of space, stars twinkling like distant lanterns in the void. Inside, the hum of machinery and quiet conversations filled the air. Humanity had left Earth behind, but the journey ahead was long, and every day brought both wonder and challenge. Dr. Elias Hart moved through the corridors, checking on the crew. Engineers monitored the engines, scientists analyzed data from distant stars, and pilots prepared for any unexpected maneuvers. Despite the excitement, there was a shared sense of vigilance. Space was beautiful, but it was also unpredictable. "Captain Chen," Elias said as he entered the control room, "what's our current trajectory?" "On course," Leora replied, her eyes scanning the instruments. "Aurora Prime is still 500 light-years away, but we're holding steady. Sensors indicate no immediate threats." Elias nodded. "Good, still we need to keep testing the shields. Even small asteroids can damage the hull if we're unprepared." Leora leaned back in her chair. "We've handled storms before. Humans adapt." "You know that, Doctor," Elias smiled. That was true. Humans had always adapted, on Earth, in the air, in the oceans, and now in space. He believed it was more than luck or skill. It was a combination of courage, creativity, and determination that allowed them to survive challenges no other species could face. The first real test of that belief came on the 7th day of the voyage. Sensors detected a massive spatial anomaly ahead, a swirling field of energy that bent light and distorted space itself. The ship shook as the anomaly's gravitational pull tugged at it. "Report," Elias called, gripping the console. "We're caught in a localized warp field," said Meena Patel, the lead engineer. "It's pulling the ship off course. If we don't act fast, we could be trapped, or worse, thrown into deep space." Elias looked at the swirling map on the display. This was beyond anything they had trained for. "Options?" Meena thought quickly. "We can try to use the secondary thrusters to counter the pull, but the calculations need precision. One wrong move and then let's do it right," Elias interrupted, calm but commanding. "Calculate the trajectory. I want every crew member at their station. We adapt, we survive, we overcome." For the next hour, the Odyssey moved like a living organism. Pilots, engineers, and scientists worked together, each action synchronized to counter the anomaly. Sweat dripped from foreheads, hearts pounded, but no one panicked. Humans did not panic. Humans solved problems. Finally, with a gentle shudder and a flash of light, the ship broke free. The anomaly shrank into the distance behind them. The crew let out collective sighs of relief, their faces glowing with pride. "We did it," Leora said, smiling. "Humans adapt. Humans overcome," Elias nodded. "Yes, but remember, this is only the beginning. Space will test us again and again." As the adrenaline faded, curiosity returned. The anomaly had left traces, strange energy readings that no human technology could fully explain. Elias and the science team began analyzing the data. Hours passed, and a faint signal emerged from the readings. It was repeating in a pattern, almost like a code. "Dr. Hart," Mina said, excitement in her voice. "This isn't random. It's intelligent." Elias leaned closer to the display. "Intelligent? Are you saying—" "Yes," Mina interrupted. "Something or someone out there is trying to communicate." The crew gathered, eyes wide. For centuries, humans had dreamed of reaching the stars, of finding life beyond Earth. Now it seemed the dream was real, and the signal had a message. Decoding it took hours. The signal was complex, but humans excelled at puzzles. Their creativity, their unique way of thinking, allowed them to